Hey, today we're going to be talking about marriage and family. I hope you've been enjoying the rest of the videos. We've talked about process, we've talked about purpose, and we've talked about leadership. But now we're going to go into marriage and family, and I'm going to explain to you why. So my name is Angie Morenga, and you're watching Just Angie. Great. So now, marriage and family. We've talked about process, we've talked about purpose, we've talked about leadership. Now we need to talk about marriage and family. You know, it's such a deep subject, you know. The ones who marriage and family is working well for them, it's an amazing subject. The ones who are experiencing trouble in marriage and in family, it's not such a great subject. But all in all, from all the years that I've lived and from this purpose journey, we have to get marriage and family right. You know, I remember once my own marriage is a shamble. I'm actually a divorced woman. But like I say, don't do what I do. Don't get divorced. I don't believe in divorce. I'm divorced and I don't believe in divorce. It sounds like an oxymoron, but really I feel like looking back on life now, getting a divorce is the easy way out. I think it's also a selfish way out, although we can't rule out every parameter. I mean, like, if there's violence or your life is in danger, that's different. And then I always like to say, anyway, approach every marriage situation, crisis, or whatever, it's individual. It really is very basic. And why do I say that? Maybe you'll ask, why did you say that? Every time I think about my marriage, I think about a wave. And I think like surfers, when the waves are becoming violent and huge, that's when they run towards the wave. They run and they ride the wave. They're so excited about the waves. Everybody else, meantime, is on the beach because they're not dealing with those waves. And I always feel like for myself personally, I should have ridden the wave. So if I'd ridden the wave, my marriage would still be, I think, in existence. And so I like to say that marriages go through seasons. They go through up and downs. And what you need to do is ride out the season. So whatever season you're in, ride the season, enjoy the season, be in the season, submit to the process that you're going through. Because for me, marriage is the biggest comedy ever sometimes. I say that with a pinch of salt because I just wonder, honestly, how do you put two people who are so different together and say, be married and be married to one another, create a family and create life. Anyway, that's the story for another day. That's just my views. But I'm thinking marriage and family. So I was doing some research the other day. I had a retreat on unpacking marriage. And it all started because we had a conversation around, is divorce an option? And then the lady said, oh, we need to meet again. We want to spend a whole day unpacking marriage. And we did. But on my research, the first thing I was researching about was about foundations. And that's why I think marriages fail or succeed, is foundations. And you can always go back and correct the foundation. I mean, even if you're building a house and there's something wrong with the house, just go. Your problem is you have to get rid of the whole building and correct the foundation. So there's nothing that's not correctable. And when I was researching about foundations, I learned that the foundations are a superstructure, so they hold up the rest of the building. And it's been becoming clear to me that marriage and family is what is needed to hold up everything else that is about us. I've been reading a lot of Cindy Jacobs, and she says that family is the fabric of society. So she's asking, how do you break down society? By breaking down families. And I think for me, in my own country where I live, and I'm sure in other countries, really the family unit has really, really broken down. Marriage has broken down, family has broken down, and we need to get it back together, and we need to make it work the way it was meant to work, you know. We raise people in families. I'm hearing people even doing shows about the village and the village coming in and speaking. And even I was telling you yesterday, we had a meeting and I was thinking that what we've lost also in Africa and in Kenya is a sense of community. But where does community come? Back to family, back to marriage. So we build strong marriages and build strong families so that we can build a society, so that we can engage in purpose and engage in leadership, have impact and have influence, and it's all in marriage. So number one, the people who are watching this who are not married, please marry the right person, you know. Marry the right person, but become the right person, but also your motives have to be right, yeah? Far too many people are getting married because there's too much pressure. I meet young people who tell me they're tired of, they don't go to weddings or family functions because of the pressure. When are you getting married? What's happening? So-and-so is married. You know, too much pressure. That's a wrong reason to get married. You have to get married for the right reasons. You have to understand, we talked about that it's your season, it's your time, and therefore you're getting married. Maybe you're married and not everything is going well in that marriage. That was the most amazing takeout of the Unpacking Marriage Retreat. It's all about you. Really, you can't focus on anybody else. You can't blame anybody else. You have to work on you. I have to work on me, and I've been doing that, and God has been doing a work in me, working on me, making me ready, making me prepared, understanding marriage. Honestly, I had no reason to get married when I look back now, because I didn't even know what marriage was. I didn't even understand what it was about. So why was I getting married, So understand why you're getting married, have a very good reason as to why you're getting married, have an idea what it's about, and then you have to do what I guess in church places we call premarital counseling. You have to. You can't do premarital counseling at the same time as you're planning a wedding, because you'll be more focused on flowers than on what actually marriage is about. So do it way before you actually engage in marriage. And I think, I don't want to say expect problems, doesn't sound good, but ride the waves. The waves that come, find a way to ride them. And you work on yourself. Don't work on blaming other people. And then make the marriage strong and make the family strong. I think one of these days I'm going to do a video on the 12 foundations of marriage that I discovered as I engaged and I did research on what I was going to talk about unpacking marriage. But today I've touched on the fact that you need a very strong foundation for marriage. You have to keep your eyes on the ball. There's really no exit plan. You can't get married with an exit plan. Like, if this doesn't work out, I'm leaving through that door. You're there. You stay in there for life, and you battle it out, and you ride the seasons, and you talk, you communicate, you understand each other's personalities. You understand when I say A, it actually means blue. Just understand people's languages, because people can be brought up in the same home, but when I say something, it triggers a different reaction. Not the reaction that you're expecting, because it means something different. So you've got to understand each other, understand each other's personalities, and also understand that marriage has to be grounded in God. And I'll say this, that lots of people get married, they conduct this relationship, this affair without God, but it's always amazing that on the wedding day, now you want God to show up to the marriage now. You've done everything, you've hung out, you've decided this is the person, you haven't even consulted him whether this is the person you're supposed to marry, but I don't know why. On the day you want him to come and endorse something, so you put on your white dress and you stand and you want a preacher or a pastor to marry you. I think it's wrong. Let's take a few steps back. Was God in this in the first place? Why am I inviting him to that just day? And if I invite him to that day, am I inviting him to that day, or am I inviting him to the whole marriage? Does he have meddling rights in the whole marriage and we're moving forward? Or is it just that one day? And then it's not right. There's a word for it, but I will not use it. It's not right. You can't do that. You can't just tell God to come on that day, appear, show up. We need the sun to shine. We get married, and after that, we're back to doing our own thing. I mean, just think about it. Even in terms of friendship, really, you can't do that, yeah? And marriage is something that has to be built on God, because I believe it's a character testing institution. It will test everything about you. You learn when to be silent, you learn when not to say something, you learn, is it really important that I say that, swallow that and move on, and learn to live with one another. And I think if we have the right attitude about marriage and why we're in this, and they say also one of the other things is to raise godly offspring, raise children who know God, because when my marriage went bust, by the grace of God only, for some reason, me and my ex-husband decided we're really going to focus on this child and make sure that what went wrong in our lives does not affect her. Because that's the other thing I see. This one we have to do like 10 series on marriage, because I see now people punishing children to decide which parent they want to love. That's not fair. Both of you are this child's parent, and the child cannot choose who they're going to love. They love you both. So, and it is your problems that you're now bringing to this child. No, you can't do that, yeah? So we put in everything into this child, and by God's grace, it has worked. And we've removed the focus of ourselves and our situation and just said, let's make this one work. And if you're in that kind of a situation, then do that, yeah? If you're a single mother or it's complicated and you're in a situation that is complicated, please don't use that child as a pawn. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you could do. And I've seen situations in counseling and coaching where children get grown and they stop talking to their parents. You're forgetting that. I told you, children are going to grow up. So you may keep them away from one parent, but they're going to get to a stage where you won't be able to keep them away, where they decide we're engaging with that parent. We don't care. We're engaging, that's our parent. And then it will hurt you. And in this situation, it was even worse, because they even stopped totally talking to the one parent who had kept them away from the other parent. Understand that you brought these children into the world together. Do your best to raise them to be responsible citizens and to do the best by them. I think that's what we did. You do the best by the child. You make, I think there was even a song, you make a good situation out of a bad situation, and it's even biblical. The Bible says that God is able to turn what was meant for harm into good. Find the good and turn it into good. And I think earlier I had said that in terms of marriage, focus, concentrate, do every work. The same work you do on your child, the way you're connected to your child, you will do anything to make sure that all is well with your child and all things are good. Put the same passion into your marriage and make sure that everything about that marriage is good. You view the other person as good, and you want to make this marriage work. Let's not be in a hurry to exit. Let's not get married for the wrong reasons. Let's interrogate and investigate why we're getting married, and let us create strong marriages and strong families. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to take sacrifice. That word we don't like. You have to sacrifice. Something has to give, something has to give, and you have to want to make this marriage the best. So it's been such a pleasure talking to you about marriage and family. Please, I know there will be tons of questions on marriage and family, so write in. I also understand it's a place of pain, but I think in my next video, I'm going to talk about pain and how you can turn pain into something good, because it can be painful, but it can be something that you turn into a good thing. Maybe you help other people with it. But anyway, like I said, I'll engage you with that on the next video. So send us your questions about marriage and family. We also have coaches here at the Purpose and Leadership Forum. We have the PLF Coaching Center, which has coaches that even just deal with just marriage and family. And if you go to the website, you'll see an array of coaches. That's what there are many of them there, so that because you have to connect with your coach somehow. Like some people, I scare them, so they're not going to connect with me. But some other people, they say, yeah, that's the woman who I want to be with. So you can connect with me as well. But there's a whole, there are many profiles. There's a whole array, there are profiles on the website that you can look and see what kind of coach you need, And you can't do marriage and family, honestly, without coaching. Either whether it's the beginning as you engage in it, through it, that's what all the premarital counseling is about, is just coaching through it, and then even after it, And when you hit certain, they say 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, just like in anything in life, even children, you're growing, things are happening, even business, it goes through growth stages. That's the same thing with marriage. So at different stages, you need different things, but you must get the help that you need in order to make marriages work. So I know there'll be tons of questions. Please call us in, call in the questions, write in the questions, send us emails, ask us from the bottom of your heart what it is that you want to know, and by God's grace and wisdom, we shall be able to guide you. And remember, be in the right place at the right time with the right people, doing the right thing. My name is Angie Morenga, and you're watching Just Angie. Bye.